An entire generation was once defined by Goldie Hawn's laughing. She represented happiness, light, and that unmistakable Hollywood enchantment to everyone. However, at the age of 79, Goldie is finally speaking up and disclosing the actors she hated the most in private. The woman everyone loved was once referred to as America's sweetheart. However, some murmured behind her back that she was overrated, phony, and greedy. Goldie listened intently. She recalled, and she resolved never to collaborate with them anymore. You'll realize how much suffering was concealed behind that flawless grin once you learn their identities. Goldie Hawn left after being publicly humiliated by Bill Murray. The most prominent name on Goldie's blacklist is Bill Murray. Because of a single event she would never forget, not because of a long-standing rivalry. For the late 1980s, it was intended to be a straightforward table read. Comedy in a studio. America's sweetheart and comedy's wild card seemed like a surefire combination on paper. However, Bill Murray did something in that room that day that made Goldie feel ashamed in front of everyone. The Hollywood enchantment she had believed in was destroyed by a single remark, gesture, and moment. Goldie knew that day that she would never again be in the same frame with Bill Murray. As soon as the table read started, everything broke down. Excitement gave way to fear in a matter of minutes. Bill Murray was boisterous, disheveled, and completely unrepentant when he arrived almost an hour late. He let go of his half. "Now we can start," he said, spilling an empty coffee cup directly into the script pages. Goldie felt it immediately as she stared at him. There was going to be a serious problem. As the text became, Goldie began by delivering her lines with the warmth and timing that have made her famous. Then, chuckling, Murray interrupted her in the middle of the scene, saying, "Why don't you try acting like you've done drama before?" The men present burst out laughing. Goldie didn't. Without uttering a word, she silently closed her script, got up, and left. There was more weight in that stillness than in any argument. Her team reported Goldie Hawn's absence to the studio the following morning. No explanation, no interviews. She just disappeared from the undertaking. She later told a friend that he believes that being unpredictable is brilliant. "It seems exhausting to me." Her career was altered by that incident. She stayed away from erratic creative geniuses who confused brutality with genius after that. She declined peace over commotion, male-driven comedies, and a refusal to put up with tantrums. She responded calmly, simply, and without any curiosity when someone asked her years later if she would ever work with Murray again. Warren Beatty, the rejection that turned into retaliation, then appeared. One word was the beginning of it all. No, that was the one thing that made Hollywood's most influential womanizer, Warren Beatty, turn against Goldie Hawn. Lately, at the height of his stardom in the 1970s, Warren made the decision that Goldie would be his next target. Everyone in Hollywood accepted the invitation to his Beverly Hills home, which followed the dinner invitation and private gatherings. Goldie, however, did not participate in the game. She was immovable, hilarious, and gracious. Warren's appeal vanished at that point. She saw that things were changing almost immediately. Meetings were cancelled, projects were inexplicably transferred, and the scripts she had been promised abruptly disappeared. Goldie didn't require an explanation. She was already aware of whose ego she had damaged. After praising her, directors abruptly stopped talking. After fighting to cast her, producers now paused. "Warren says, you're difficult," one even murmured, pulling her aside. "It's not serious stuff." It wasn't really loud. It wasn't overly dramatic. It was a deliberate, slow slander effort. Years later, Goldie acknowledged that he couldn't handle rejection. He penalizes it. It was all described in 6 words. What started off as a straightforward no gradually turned into a grudge that followed her until the early 1980s. The impact of Warren Beatty was huge, and he used it mercilessly. Goldie never called him out or confronted him. She let the years do the talking. Eventually, though, fate brought them together once more during an award ceremony. Warren came to her with the same smile, leaning in as though nothing had occurred, years after the fallout. Mid-sentence, Goldie looked away from him after meeting his gaze and giving him a kind grin in response. Only one silent, heartbreaking dismissal, no scandal, no spectacle. Then there was the audition with Dustin Hoffman, which destroyed Gold's admiration. The most unexpected name of all, third on her unconscious blacklist. Hoffman was considered a genius by the world. Goldie did, too, once. However, her perspective was permanently altered after a single tryout. Goldie was prepared to change in the early 1980s. She had previously demonstrated her ability to make millions of people laugh. She wanted to feel them now. Producers were thrilled to put her with Hoffman for the lead in a major drama that was in the works. Everybody anticipated sparks. They were correct, but not in the way that everyone had anticipated. Hoffman stopped reading abruptly halfway through. His countenance was expressionless and icy as he gazed at her before turning to the "She's still playing it like a sitcom," the producers remarked. The words were more powerful than a smack. Goldie remained silent. She made no effort to defend herself. She completed the scene with perfect poise, thanked the audience, and left before anyone had a chance to say anything. She gave her agency a call the following morning. She spoke in a calm, dispassionate tone. "I'm leaving. In a room full of men who have already determined that I am a joke, I will not struggle for respect." Goldie permanently left Dustin Hoffman and the project after saying that. When questioned about the incident years later, she merely replied, "Some males don't forget that they aren't controlling the ladies around them." A single, silent, piercing line. That was her retaliation. Hoffman believed he had shown her vulnerability. Rather, he exposed his own conceit. Goldie refrained from arguing. She didn't beg. She simply left without turning around. Then came Chevy Chase, the initial haughtiness that ended their friendship. How awful was it? "I'll quit Hollywood if I ever have to smile next to Chevy Chase again," Goldie once said to a pal. That was the extent of the bitterness. He is ranked fourth on her silent blacklist as a result. Foul play appeared to be the ideal fit back in 1978. America's sweetheart, Goldie. Chevy is the new king of humor. They were wonderful on camera. It was complete anarchy off camera. As if he owned the studio, Chevy walked confidently onto the set. He altered jokes, ruined takes, and made fun of lines. If Goldie received a bigger laugh, he would pout for hours. Even worse, he would whisper to himself, "She's fortunate to be here." Goldie made an effort to remain polite. She kept the peace, charmed people, and joked, but the cracks spread. Chevy rushed off one night after yet another argument over a scene, demanding that the director rewrite it. Goldie stayed behind, sitting quietly on the steps, completely drained. "He's not funny when the cameras stop," she said to her stylist in a whisper. "He's simply cruel." They had stopped talking by the end of filming. The studio pleaded with her for a follow-up. "There are millions at stake." She didn't blink. She informed her agency that she wasn't interested, and that was the end of. For her, Chevy Chase. The fifth person on her hidden hatred list was Sean Penn. Goldie believed she had witnessed every kind of conceit Hollywood could create. She was mistaken. She was unprepared for Sean Penn's situation. Because the humiliation this time did not take place behind closed doors or on a set. It took place in front of a whole ballroom full of influential people from the industry, under chandeliers. Nor did Goldie Hawn forget. Goldie was asked to give a brief but moving address about mental health, a topic she has dedicated much of her life to, at a charity dinner in Malibu in 2014. When she stepped on, suddenly, everyone in the room fell silent, save for Sean Penn, who was at his table. Rolling his eyes, he let out a loud groan and mumbled, "Another celebrity wellness sermon." However, the actual blow followed. Warm applause greeted the end of her remarks. Penn smirked, leaned back, and said the words that would stick in her memory forever. She should stick to giggling. Goldie remained silent. She didn't get any smaller. She merely raised her glass in a silent toast, smiled, and departed early. She didn't say anything until she got in the car, "My whole career and I'm still reduced to giggles." She drew her line in the sand at that very moment. After that evening, Goldie declined to go to any function where Sean Penn's name was listed as an attendee. And she didn't think twice when asked how she felt about him years later. "Not my vitality." She wasn't upset. She was done. Then came Kirk Douglas, the last name on Goldie's silent hatred list and the one nobody ever expected. A Hollywood legend, not a competitor, not a loudmouthed comedian. In the late 1990s, it started at an industry panel. Goldie was present as a seasoned Hollywood actress, producer, and Oscar winner. Kirk, who was already well known, gave her a kiss on the hand, added, "You haven't aged at all, my love." The audience chuckled. Goldie grinned, but it was a compliment that felt like a hurt on the inside. Things became worse when the panel started. Kirk interrupted her. Repeatedly, correcting her thoughts, completing her phrases, and taking back the spotlight as though it still belonged to him alone. Each interruption served as a reminder of how readily women, even successful ones, might be erased by powerful males. You could feel her frustration, the moderator subsequently acknowledged. She changed from radiant to icy. Goldie told a friend after the event, "He talks to me like I'm still the blonde in a bikini." Scene. I'm an Oscar winner. That says it all. She never mentioned Kirk again, but she stayed friendly with Michael Douglas, frequently complimenting him on being the kind of dignified guy Hollywood needed. Later, in a low voice, she continued, "Some men don't deserve a second act in your memory. And that's the most important fact of all." Kirk Douglas was on her list, but he was unaware of it. You now understand the true tales concealed behind the beautiful grin of Hollywood. Out of these 6 names, which one surprised you the most? Do you believe Goldie was correct to remain silent for so long, or should she have come clean sooner? Leave a comment below with your thoughts. For more untold Hollywood confessions, remember to like, subscribe, and return. Everything from revealing Hollywood secrets, classical Hollywood film.